Personal Finance and You. If you weren't here yesterday, you want to go back to day one, and you're going to log in and complete this. If you were here yesterday, just fast forward through this portion of the video to when I start talking about day two, and I'll start to read this. So you just fast forward. But for those who may have been absent, here is what you missed yesterday. For a lot of our lessons, we watch a video to introduce, and when we watch the video, here are the fill in the blank that we'll be filling in. You can do this in your Do Now journal, your Journal of Gold, or you can do it on this document. If you do it in the Journal of Gold, you can look back at this in the future to help kind of guide your financial decisions. And then we'll have an analyze and reflect question as well. So to access the video, if you're at home, you have a substitute teacher, here is what you're going to need to know in order to do so. This is the username for all students. Here's a password for all students. So everyone uses the same username and password to log into this website. So you click here. You'll find, where is this video located? Chapter 1, Lesson 1. Okay, so I'll always put that there to show you where to go once you're logged in. So once you're logged in, before this, there is a period 2 dashboard that you log into. So you'll click class content, and then you're going to click chapter 1, then you can go lesson 1. In here, you'll see textbook activity. We're just going to click on the video. Complete the day 1 material, which we'll pull up here in a second. So you'll use that to guide through this day 1. Okay, for day 2, I'm going to go through a reading. This reading covers some of the things that we covered yesterday. You'll fill in the multiple choice questions here, and then there's going to be some short answer questions. If there is a Kahoot, I'll post it in Otis. So let's get started with our reading. And it'd be good. Oh, computer's really slow. It'd be good to, you can kind of zero in on the answer. So what is personal finance? What percentage of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck? According to the text, what is the relationship between personal finance and behavior? What is the average amount of auto loan debt? So debt people owe on their car per U.S. household, per family. The concept of keeping up with the Joneses refers to. So in the reading, we want to kind of pay attention when we find information to answer those questions. So let's get through here. At any point you want to pause the video, go back to that sheet, go ahead. So our main idea, again, from yesterday, learning how to manage your money now will help you avoid the financial mistakes most people make. The large majority of people in the United States don't manage their money well, and you can avoid a headache, heartache, and financial setback by learning good habits and good principles to win with money. So the main idea, we want you to win with money in the future. So welcome to the course that has the power to change the trajectory of your future. So one thing I'd tell the kids, if you believe this information is going to be beneficial for your future and you pay attention, it will actually benefit you. If you go through this kind of going through the motions, you're not going to get much out of it. So when it says you can change your future, it's truly the case. So in some cases, you might wonder if you'll ever use what you are learning once you leave school, but not in this class. Sure, we'll take some time to talk about some stuff that's along the way, that's a long way off. Okay, so when you're in 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, I mean, it seems like a long time, but we'll talk about some of those things, but you'll definitely get information you can use to help when you get to those ages. So like buying a home or investing for retirement, but you can start using a lot of what you're about to learn right now in your real life. So it sounds great, right? So what is personal finance? So this is you're in personal finance class. So the basic definition you'll see over to the right. All the financial decisions an individual or a family must make in order to earn, money, budget their money, save their money, spend their money, and give money over time. So that's personal finance. Now, uh, so it's just that your personal finances is what you choose to do with your money. It's all the money decisions you make every day, like figuring out when and where to save and spend your cash. When you make the right choices, you're managing your money, but the wrong choices can lead to your money problems managing you. Once you understand how earning, budgeting, saving, spending, and giving affect your money, you have all the tools you need to make the right choices. So in this class, we're going to learn how to actually have a budget your money. You want to make sure that at the end of the month, do you have enough money to pay all your bills? There's people who actually don't, and they get themselves in trouble. If you've ever driven down and seen a store, it's called like payday loans, or there is actually companies that will help individuals who don't have enough money. They ran out of money and they need money. They'll give you a loan and they charge you a lot of money for that loan. So there's actually companies that want and they need people to mismanage their money because they make money off you. We'll learn how to save money. Okay, we'll learn how spending money wisely, and also when you actually make more money than you need, be able to give and help other organizations. So these are some of the main concepts that we're going to cover in this class. So, and that's what good personal finance is all about. Being financially literate. Being financially literate is having the knowledge and skills you need as a consumer to be able to manage your money well. So we want you guys all to be wise and be financially literate. So words of wisdom. When we see words of wisdom, we write this in our Journal of Gold. So we'll be talking about that Journal of Gold throughout the year. This will be a grade in this class. So make sure the more that you write, the more that information that you put in that can be used on future quizzes and tests. So you want to get out your Journal of Gold if it's not out already and write this down. You'll either manage your money or the lack of it will always manage you. So in life, you want to be in a position of power and freedom with money, not stress, anxiety. So if you actually manage your money well and not overspend, save, have an emergency fund, you are in control of your money and you can make wise decisions out of a position of power, freedom. But if you don't, your money could start managing you. Not having enough of it could put you in situations where you have to borrow money, and that road is hard to get out of. So that's the words of wisdom. Write that in your Journal of Gold. So just think about your current money situation. Now I know we're in 7th grade, 8th grade. So some of us may have a job, make a little money, maybe have an allowance. So when we were kind of reading and going through this, you need to kind of paint a picture of your future self. Maybe you're in high school and you have a job, part-time job, or maybe you're in college and you have a full-time job. So you have to kind of put yourself in your future shoes. So you might have an income from a part-time job, or your parents may pay you for doing chores. What are you doing with your money? If you just put it in your pocket and spend it without a plan, you probably end up running out of money fast. I remember some stories of my friends or some situations with my friends growing up. If our parents gave us money, we would look to spend all of it. We wouldn't bring any home. We had to spend it. It was like there's an expression like the money's burning a hole in your pocket. So if someone gave you money, parents gave you money, what do you do with it? Do you spend all of it? Do you save some of it? Do you have a plan for your money, or just kind of like whatever your feelings is how you spend your money? So, but if you make it a habit to plan and set goals for your money, it'll last longer. And you could end up end up actually paying cash for your own car or paying for college debt free. This lesson, debt, is when you owe money to someone else or to a business. So does the idea of buying a car or going to college without borrowing money shock you? Of course it does. That's because almost everyone you know uses debt to pay for those things and more. Here's the deal. On the surface, it looks like most people are doing really well with money. They have nice houses, fancy cars, expensive jewelry, and all the latest technology. But they can't really afford those things. They're using debt, credit card, loans to pay for it all just to keep up the appearance of success. So that's what's known as keeping up with the Joneses. So Joneses live down the street, pretend situation, and the Joneses have the nice cars and new iPhones, the latest gadgets, whatever they have, they always buy the latest. And so maybe a family sees that and they're like, hey, we need to have that. We need to have the new car, the new TV. So we're trying to keep up the Joneses down the street. But in order to do that, if you're going into debt, owing money, this is a trap. And it traps people into a cycle of debt, always owing you money. So words of wisdom. Debt doesn't open doors, it closes them. Debt doesn't open doors, it closes them. So pause this, write that down in your journal of gold, and then push play, and we'll continue on that concept. I have a cousin family member who had a lot of debt, made some financial decisions where he had a low credit score, and we'll get into credit score later on. But he had such a low credit score that people wouldn't trust to loan him money. And there was a house that he had a down payment house because his credit was very poor. And so he had debt that he didn't that he still owed. And so with that situation, the house he could have purchased was at that time worth $300,000, but he wasn't able to get a loan. So that door closed for him to buy that house because he made some poor decisions with paying back debt in the past. So it hurt them, because if you look at the house right now, that same house would be worth $800,000 now. So it basically cost him about $500,000, $500,000 because of poor decisions when he was younger. So debt doesn't open doors, it closes them. Now there are some situations where you can use debt in a way wisely, but for the most part, debt is not a good thing to have. So in America, 72% of people say they're burdened by consumer debt. So most people have debt and they feel a burden, like a weight on their shoulders. The average borrower has over $34,000 of debt, not including a mortgage. So this is like credit card debt. This could be a car loan. As the chart below shows, debt is definitely a problem, but it doesn't have to be a problem for you. So let's look at this chart here. Average debt in the U.S. So credit cards, amount per person is about $15,000. So $890 billion in debt people owe to the credit card companies. Mortgages, being a house, close to $200,000. Auto loans, so probably per family, they might have 2 or 3 cars, maybe 2 cars, they owe money. And student loan debt. So that's kind of just the average in the U.S. And one thing I'd tell in this class, we don't want to be average. Okay, we want to do things differently. So living paycheck to paycheck, all that debt leads to another big problem: living paycheck to paycheck. Okay, almost 80% of Americans use all the money they get from one paycheck just to make it to the next. So what does this mean? This means this is a person at the end of the month, they're counting down the days to get their next paycheck because they basically have ran out of money. This might be somebody who goes to the grocery store, uses their ATM card, and it says it's declined when they're trying to buy groceries for their family for the next week. Okay, so living paycheck to paycheck, like it's almost... You're counting on it. It's your lifeline. You need it. So this is what we want to stay out of this 80%. We want to do things differently. So in this class, it teaches you the basics, foundations to do so. Because a big chunk of every paycheck goes to their monthly debt payments, they can't save any money for emergencies or big purchases. So they go even deeper into debt to pay for those things. It's a never-ending cycle that's difficult for many people to break. So I'm going to go back to that story of my cousin. He was young, and he got a credit card, and he would spend money on that credit card, and he didn't really understand how it worked. He just knew that he liked these shoes. He wanted to go to this concert. He was spending money, and that credit card has a limit. And typically, the limit when you first get a credit card is about $5,000. Depends on your income, and he maxed that credit card out. Max out means he ran a balance. He charged. He spent up to that $5,000, and he was only paying the minimum payment every month. So he would pay maybe $150 a month, and the total balance would go down a little bit. Part of it went towards the balance. Part of it went towards a credit card company and interest. So it actually costs you money to borrow that money. So he did that for a couple of years, and he looked back and he's like, I made a mistake. I was spending like I made more money. And then, like I said, that closed a door for him to have a house that he could have purchased, but his credit score is low, and then he wasn't able to buy that house. So he's still renting right now. He's still renting that right now. He could have $500,000 in equity in his house, but he doesn't because of just poor decisions. So debt isn't the only problem. So let's get real for a moment. Personal finance does involve some math, but personal finance is mostly about behavior. Okay, habits. We all have habits, good, bad. You guys know your habits, your daily habits. And so what habits are you creating right now? Every day that you do something, you're creating a habit. So are we creating habits to be on the right path for academic success? So this is going to be habits for financial success. So life money habits like budgeting, investing, goal setting, giving, establishing healthy boundaries in personal relationships, and furthering your skills and education all impact your finances. How is that possible? Because personal finance is about 20% of what you know, knowledge, and 80% behavior. And I give a good example of this. Most people know that eating salads, fruit, staying away from candy, fast food, junk food. Most people know that what's good and what's not, but actually doing the things that you know make you healthier, like running, exercising, drinking enough water, staying away from soda. Okay, so same thing with finances. It's more about your behavior, not about really what you know. So about 20% is head knowledge, 80% is doing the things that you know you should do to get ahead and win with money. So I'll be referring back to that in the future. So let's kind of go down here. So remember, personal finance is 80% behavior, 20% knowledge. I want you to pause, and I want you to write this in your journal of gold. Okay, so you can actually, if you're more of an artistic person, you want to draw like a graphic like this, you can, or you can just write it out. So this means knowing what to do with your money isn't the real problem. It's actually making smart money choices that's hard for most people. And this course will focus on both head knowledge and behavior. You'll learn that the right way to manage your money, and you'll learn how to build good money habits that you can use now in the future. Remember, for most American families, normal is being broke, okay, living paycheck to paycheck and living in debt. You don't have to be normal. So debt is normal, be weird. Okay, so that's a phrase that Dave Ramsey says. You don't want to be weird. You don't want to be normal when it comes to the average American. So that is the reading portion. Now, you want to go back to multiple choice 1 through 5. Answer these, okay, based off the knowledge. These should be fairly straightforward. It should stand out from our information covered. If not, you can go to Otis and click on the reading to actually go over it and reading when it go and review that and find the answers. Now the short answer, you're going to answer this next. So in your own words, describe what personal finance means to you. So this would be multiple sentences. Why might someone end up living paycheck to paycheck? Why might someone end up living paycheck to paycheck? And what is one consequence of this lifestyle? We'll just kind of actually just take this here and shorten it down. How does debt affect one's financial freedom according to the words of wisdom in the text? How does debt affect one's financial freedom? So remember the words of wisdom you wrote in your journal of gold about closing doors and the story of my cousin. This course suggests that personal finance is 80% behavior. Give an example of a behavior that could impact your personal finances. So this behavior could be a positive or a negative behavior. So lastly, what do you think the phrase debt is normal and be weird is trying to tell you about managing your finances? So whenever you have these short answers, you can write this in your journal of gold or on this document. Raise your hand and the guest teacher will come by and just kind of check your work when you're done. If you're done and you have more time in class or not at close to the bell, you can read. You could read or do other classwork. No video games, no just searching the web. And so that is all I have for you. Any questions, feel free to reach out.